Hi guys, it is, take a wild guess. It is a nasty, ugly, blah, gray, depressing Sunday now afternoon. With the change in the clocks, I got up at 1:45 today. So I could roll out of my little cocoon here on Sunday, March 9th, 2014 to flip on my computer to see how this planet in the last 24 hours has descended deeper into the hellhole of our planetary future called the end times. This is not South Austin, Texas, guys. This is what I guess it looks like in Iraq today, pretty much like it's looked in Iraq every day for the past 10 years, I guess. The latest bomb, a suicide bomber, what is this? 32 more dead Iraqis. 147 hauled off to the hospital. Anyway, from the mainstream, we'll get back to the mainstream media, but before we get into there, let's go way over to the left end of the dial to Russia Today. That anti-U.S. Propaganda rag, Russia Today, actually with an oblique reference to Austin, Texas, where here we're having the South by Southwest Festival, and I guess our old buddy Julian Assange, speaking from the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where my friend Rafael Correa has given Julian Assange refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. So Julian was beaming into Austin, Texas yesterday to talk about the NSA, and I don't even have any idea who the GCHQ is, but the NSA and the GCHQ will soon have the ability to spy on the entire planet as their capabilities double every 18 months. Quote, the ability to surveil everyone on the planet is almost here and arguably will be in a few years, and that has led to a huge transfer of power from the people who are surveilled, which is every one of you listening to me right now, from the people who are surveilled upon to those who control the surveillance complex. It is an interesting postmodern version of power. Yes, it is. All right. From the extreme left end of the dial over there at RT, what are those more mainline lefties yakking about here on this ugly Sunday? Just their usual yakking about those goddamn right-wing jackasses. There you go, and those head up their ass Christian conservatives. Let's see. I might have to check this one out, guys. 10 things never to say to a sad, grieving, or depressed person. There you go. That might have to be a whole rant. 10 things never to say to a depressed person. Yeah, anyway, okay. From there, their all tired story on that sociopathic 1%, the driving force at the heart of the Tea Party. There you go. See, this is probably my central complaint about Alex Jones, my fellow Austinite Alex Jones, always screaming about the sociopathic 1% out of one side of his fat mouth And then out of the other side of his fat mouth is he is screaming in support of the Tea Party. Alex Jones and virtually everyone who the Kool-Aid drinkers listening to him do not understand that the sociopathic 1% they complain about are the very people at the heart of the group they most admire. Anywho's, enough wasted breath on that fat ass. Okay, a bunch of stories on racism. Gee, more stories on the Christian right. Alright, anyway, it's the same old batch that you can get day after day, week after week, year after year on alternet.org. How many times can they say, can they yak about the Christian right? Anyway, I don't give a goddamn about the Christian right. So I never tune in to their stories. Who gives a shit about the Christian right? All right, moving into the mainstream media, the first two stories out of the thing, I predicted the conspiracy wackos were going to be cranking up about this jet plane that went down off the coast of Vietnam, and there's probably 10 stories as the conspiracy wackos get their panties in a wad. Anywho's, you will be seeing more crashed jet planes in the end times, I can assure you. This continuing story about Libya threatening to bomb North Korean tanker if it ships oil from rebel port. This could be an interesting story to bring the end times on. Of course, I am cheering on Libya. I would absolutely love to see Libya blow up a North Korean oil tanker. That would get things rolling. But I'm sure, like every other one of my pipe dreams, it ain't gonna happen. But I'm cheering on Libya blowing up that North Korean oil tanker. Now, the vast majority of these I have already done. Okay, what is our esteemed California Governor Jerry Brown up to? Gearing up for re-election once again. But Governor Jerry Brown heard another unwelcome message Saturday that some environmentalists in California, a core Democratic constituency, are bristling over his administration's policies on fracking. Yes, they are. Governor Jerry Brown, that hypocritical turncoat, Mr. Save the Planet, Governor Moonbeam, rolling out the red carpet to frackers in the middle of the biggest drought in California in 500 years. Talking about how all Californians need to do their part to cut down on their use of water, as he is rolling out the red carpet to fracking wells right on top of earthquake faults. I hope the son of a bitch loses, although anyone else will also be rolling out the red carpet to frackers. The frackers own the governor of California. It does not matter whether they're Democrat or Republicans. Do you get it, guys? The frackers own the governor, they own the president, they own the Senate. Moving along from the goddamn frackers. Oh, let's see. What are Saudi Arabia up to? Okay, Saudi Arabia and Qatar are supporting militant groups in Iraq and have effectively declared war on the country. This is the story behind the photo that I opened with of that latest suicide bomb in the newest Iraqi war, killing 32 people. So here is the mainstream media story from Austin, Texas, from Associated Press. I just read you RT's, Russia Today's coverage. How is the AP playing this up? WikiLeaks Assange talks NSA hints at more leaks. Okay, fugitive WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Well, I guess you have to click on the story. Anyway, but we just went over that story, and I'm sure RT had a better one. Anyway, okay, trying to find stories I haven't already talked about. Okay, here we go. What is going on over there in China today? We need to go check in with our buddies over there, where we find the Reuters news headline. Over 95% of Chinese cities failed to meet environmental standards last year, according to their environment minister. There is a contradiction in terms. China's environment minister. There you go. Yeah, one scratching his head, wondering why over 95% of the cities in his country failed to meet environmental standards. Okay, bad news, good news and bad on the marijuana front, as U.S. states allow pot sales. Dutch reverse course, and this is how the party is over in the Netherlands. This story has been building with each passing year. The Netherlands cracking down on marijuana. Of course, mushrooms were declared illegal about 5 years ago, and every year it gets tougher and tougher to light up a joint in Holland. But it's easier here. Okay, where are we? We can find 2014's cheapest auto insurance rates. My auto insurance is 000 because I have no auto to insure. Here is the continuing story. It's now on Nightline about this woman losing her entire life in a U-Haul. This is another one. I have nothing better to do today on this nasty day. I might have to come back and look at this woman now making Nightline whining that she has lost her entire life when a U-Haul was stolen. Anyway, I might come back to that. Okay, here is Shakira, whoever that is, saving the planet by opening a charity school in a Colombia shantytown. All right. Let's see more about that plane wreck as a conspiracy wackos. Okay, here's the first of two stories about the same thing. This is from AFP, the French news service. Fears South Sudan conflict could infect region, meaning the whole region of Central Africa, the just south of the Sahara, as ongoing fighting in South Sudan shatters any pretense of a ceasefire, analysts fear the conflict could engulf the entire region as former foes fight old wars. Yes, this is how the horseman of the apocalypse, called war, is playing out in sub-Saharan Africa, as all of these little conflagrations spread around. And we'll talk more about this in a headline in a minute. Okay. Let's see. Here's good old Save the Planet, John Kerry. John Kerry urging U.S. envoys to make climate change a priority. There you go. Thank you, John Kerry, for saving the planet. We do appreciate it. All right. No comment on the new pig pens. Let's see. I don't know what this one has to do with the end times. You tell me. LSD-laced steak sickened Florida family. That's one more reason not to eat steak. All right. Poor J.P. Morgan Chase has no buyers for its mortgage firm, I guess. Its private equity business. One equity partners, they cannot unload this toxic mortgage department. Anyway, from the banksters to Sarah Palin, we find Sarah Palin several stories on the mainstream media about her speech at the Conservative Political Action Conference. We have Sarah Palin quoting Dr. Seuss at CPAC. Yep, probably the most intelligent thing out of Sarah Palin's mouth was quoting Dr. Seuss. Okay, now as the continuing story about how war is breaking out all over Africa. This story from Associated Press coming out of Uganda, the headline, Tanzania, long cautious, is caught in Rwanda feud. The East African nation of Tanzania, long a force of quiet power in the region, and a voice of restraint and non-interference in other countries' affairs, is embroiled in a potentially ugly feud with Rwanda. Okay, as war erupts all over Africa. I will have more to say about Rwanda in my doomsday sermon coming up after this rant. Okay. Where am I? 1840. Me, again, trying to find stories I have not already talked about. Okay, we just talked about China's, that 95% of China is failing its pollution standards. This is water and air. So what is going on? So what is China going to do about all their smog? How about this one for you techno-utopians? China tests anti-smog drone aircraft. All right. China tested a drone aircraft designed to disperse smog in an important step for the country's domestic aviation industry. There you go. Okay. We got the drones dispersing the smog. I guess they'll disperse the smog all the way over here. Once they can get it high enough, it won't stop till it gets to the U.S. Okay, some good news coming out of Illinois. Illinois has more cities providing 100% renewable energy than any other state, which has reduced its pollution by the equivalent of removing 1 million cars from the road. Good for Illinois, saving the planet. All right, I got 10 more minutes here. Let's see. All right, Sarah Palin. Again, this is another review of Sarah Palin's speech at the at that conservative that bunch of these right-wing Christian conservatives getting together. What is this quote in this story? Sarah Palin, quote, "The only thing that stops a bad guy with a nuke is a good guy with a nuke." There you go, the wit and wisdom of Sarah Palin when she puts down her Dr. Seuss book. Okay, moving on. Again, trying to find something that I haven't already talked about. This one, okay, this is this could be the headline of the day. Mom accused of driving into surf goes before judge. All right, here we go, guys. This is today's headline of the end times. A pregnant South Carolina woman pointed to the ocean, locked the doors, and rolled up the windows of her SUV, telling her 3 children she was, quote, trying to take them to a better place, close quote, as she drove her minivan into the surf. There you go. This pregnant mother of 3 packing the kids in the minivan, driving into the surf to take them to a better place than the place she was leaving. Yep, I guess this pregnant mom should have thought about the future of her children, going into what the future her children have to look forward to before she had the little planet eaters. Anyway, from pregnant mothers driving their children to a better place, we have the mainstream media sounding like the conspiracy wackos. What's in the CIA's black site file? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure Alex Jones will provide you with hours of answers to the question, what is in the CIA's black site file? Yep. All right, moving along. What have I got? I got 6 minutes to wrap around the end times before moving along to my doomsday sermon. Is there anything left in here? Surely there's got to be something here. All right, now here's one. You better believe this one is one for the end times. This is for everyone who thinks the high schoolers, today's teenagers, are going to change things. Students take part in robot competition. Dozens of students are heading to Madera South High School in Fresno, California to take part in the regional robotics competition. As high school students, these little Ray Kurzweil juniors running around in their robotic competitions. Yep, what's going on in Central Africa Republic? We find the UN saying almost all Muslims have fled the Central African capital. Smart Muslims. All right. I got 4.5 minutes to romp around. Good, there's more stories about Libya blowing up this North Korean ship. Come on, Libya, you can do it. You've got it in you, buddy. All right, more protesters fighting with police in Venezuela. Okay. Well, guys, let's wrap up right here. This is no doubt the shortest headline and probably the shortest story in the mainstream media. You see how most of the stories they have about this much type? Well, here is the headline, and this is probably the entire story. A perfect place to wrap up our peek into the end times. A look at the rights of Arab women. Here is a look at women's rights across the Arab world. And they have a colon and a bunch of white space. Here, right here, is a look at the rights of Arab women. But as long as we're over there in that general area of the world, let's just see what does it look like in Cairo, Egypt today. We started off with what it looked like in Iraq, and this is what it looks like in Cairo, Egypt. And this van, that's this gas-sucking van billowing this fire and smoke, is in fact a reporter's van. This is a journalist van covering what is going on in Cairo, Egypt. And this is how the press is treated in Cairo, Egypt, as we drive headlong into the surf of the end times, locking the doors on our minivan, driving into the surf of the end times, looking for a better place here on Sunday, March 9th, 2014. But I got to wrap up this rant so I can come at you with part 1 of my doomsday sermon on Jared Diamond's Bible of the Apocalypse called Collapse. I will be coming at you with that one shortly. For this rant, bye guys.